Also, as well, there's some theories out there that if Jay Stansfield's managed to score, he's going to like put on a Deadpool cap and go celebrate in front of the Wrexham fans. That'd be quite funny, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue, and this game week Birmingham City have the fantastic fixture at home to Wrexham. It's been dubbed the EFL Hollywood Derby. We're looking forward to it as Birmingham City supporters, and we've had some fantastic comments from Wrexham fans who have been absolutely brilliant on our other videos, and they're really looking forward to it as well. And in this podcast, myself and Matt are going to talk about the game. We're going to have a little chat about what we think in terms of teams and formations and what might happen, and just to give a general preview of the match. So, Matt, Wrexham at home, what do you think about that?
I mean, before we get into the main bulk of the video, I just want to say I'm so excited for this fixture. I cannot wait. I don't know whether it's because this game's arguably our biggest game of the season so far, or whether the international break has taken its toll on me, but I'm itching to get back down to watch the football and get back down to St.Andrews, so I cannot wait. And full house, a game under the lights, it's going to be loud in there, it's going to be noisy in there, and we're playing Wrexham, full of confidence, full of momentum, but it has all the makings for a great game, don't it?
Yeah, the Wrexham fans are absolutely buzzing. I've had some great sort of comments from them on the channel, and some good banter actually between us and them. And we got to think where they've came from. They've came from National League, and I've had many years down there in the doldrums, and they've made their way back through League Two, now in League One, and they're on the up. Without a doubt. I think we were going in the opposite direction, i.e. we had bad owners for so many years, our stadiums falling to bits, we eventually got relegated to League One. So we are a team now that's I think we've reached the point now where we are going to start to rise now, which makes it all the more exciting. Two teams that are, as you said, confident about the future. In terms of the league form, Wrexham are obviously top of the league. They're flying. They've played 13 points. We've played one less. We've got 10 points. It's got the makings of a great game, hasn't it?
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be a massive game. Yeah. And fair play, the Wrexham fans have been, as you say, they've been giving great banter on social media. They've actually been giving some good feedback on their structure and their team as well, which I thought was quite interesting. And, Wrexham are without a doubt a team which are happy to sit out of possession. We did a podcast last week, Dad, and we mentioned, the big five that we're playing next, or the big five games that we're playing next. And we mentioned that they average 35% possession. So they're more than happy to sit out. We're going to have lots of the ball again. And they seem like a team that kind of catch you on the counter, take most advantage of a mistake, are very good at set pieces. They're very good at taking their chances, Wrexham. And, we have to be on our game. I think it's going to be a close game. We'll come to score predictions at the end. I mean, we have given it in a previous video, have you seen it? But we'll come back to those. But yeah, I'm expecting a tough game. And I think the biggest thing for me, and I know a few Wrexham fans have confirmed this in the comments, the biggest thing they have going for them is the momentum. It's the confidence. Yeah. It's the team which is gelled and they're very together. And, Blues are 17 transfers in this window. I think we're playing good football. We're playing high possession football. There's no doubt that we are a dangerous team, and we are going to be a dangerous team this season. But I think all Blues fans will agree we're waiting for that moment of click and that moment of gel, especially in the final third, aren't we? So it's going to be such an interesting game, but we're going to have to be on it because clearly Wrexham, happy to be out of possession, but will punish you if you make mistakes or they catch you on the counter or set pieces. I think we especially have to be aware of on Monday.
Yeah, you're right. And I think from what I've seen, they'll set themselves up as a 5-3-2 in this game, which seems defensive, but actually they transition into a 3-5-2 when they're on the attack, which is where and how they transition quite quickly. So, yeah, they are a team that likes or don't mind being out of possession, but then, as you say, they hurt you when they do get the ball. So we have to watch them. Definitely. They've had some good results so far, What I've noticed is really interesting. They've played 5 games so far, won 4. They drew that one away at Bolton, which is not a bad result in itself, to be honest. But the other games that they won, the 4 games that they've won, 3 of them they scored 3 goals, and the other one they scored 2. But in all of those games, they scored 2 goals in the first half of every game. So they seem a very strong first half team.
Interesting.
And then obviously, if you can get a lead and get your noses in front, it tells us that they're hard to break down. Yeah. What I think is important for Birmingham City is that we don't concede the first goal, because if you have seen that predictions video, we both commented that we know that there'll be goals in this and I'll stick my sort of hat in the ring here and say Birmingham City will not keep a clean sheet in this game.
I agree.
I think Wrexham will definitely score, and that's only based upon what we've seen so far, because we're in this sort of moment of transition in our team in terms of the players getting used to the system that Chris Davies wants to play. We are making ourselves vulnerable at the back, aren't we?
Yeah, I was literally going to come back to that point, Dad. I think in every game that we've played this season, we've had moments of clumsiness at the back, aren't we? And Wrexham seem like a team, like they're going to punish you for those mistakes. So hopefully, we've mentioned this again, Dad, we've had the international break. Chris Davies has had the chance to be on the training pitch for effectively 2 whole weeks before the game starts. He'll be ironing out these kinks. He'll know these problems. He'll know we need to be more clinical going forward, and he'll know we need to iron out those little problems at the back as well, especially against a team like Wrexham because, they've managed to keep 4 clean sheets. Yeah. As you say, that hard to break down. Very great at capitalising on weaknesses and chances, and they are capable of scoring absolute screamers as well. I don't know whether any fans have managed to see many of the Wrexham games or highlights. There's been some absolute screamers. Look at the Wickham game. 2 of those goals were absolutely world class. So, they will punish you from outside the box. They will capitalise. So, again, just being wary from the Blues' perspective, especially at the back there. I just wanted to jump in there on that point because it's really important. We need to be really sharp.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how Chris Davies sets us up, and I'll be talking about that in a moment. We normally, when we do these pre-match videos, towards the end of the podcast, we'll discuss what we think the Blues starting lineup will be. But we'll get to that point in a minute. But as we always do, sorry, Matt, do you want to make?
No, I was going to jump in because we talk about Wrexham being very well set up, and they are set up, but they are vulnerable as well. I saw them against Peterborough. And Peterborough at a certain point to the game were breaking through them, they were slicing through them. So there are weaknesses to the Wrexham game. They're not like this. It's going to be a difficult game, and I'm expecting a very tough game, but they're not like a perfect team. They do have weaknesses. They can be exploited. As I said, I've seen teams slice them open before, but they just seem very compact at the back, and we need to be aware of that. And, as I mentioned before, only conceded 2 goals this season, and they've kept 4 clean sheets. So coming back to that thing about Birmingham, Dad, we have been struggling to break down teams when they do park the bus or when they have that mentality of playing out of possession. And I think we really need to go at them. We cannot pay them any respect. We need to, with a home team, we need to dominate the ball, and we need to absolutely go at them.
The difference might be in this game. I think we'll see Jay Stansfield start the game, and he's his first start in the league for us since he came back. Yeah. He has got the ability to, his pace is electric, and if we can get him the right service and get him in the right positions, he's the type of player that could break through that. Those that you call it, the parking the bus.
Yeah,
he could knock the bus over.
It's a good point, that is, and I think I'd like to see a bit of Lyndon Dykes in this game. If we're struggling, if we're struggling to break them down, or we're noticing that we're getting a bit more of a good point. If we're getting a physical battle up in the top part of the pitch, stick on Dykes. He will knock those centre off. The first thing he did in the game at Wigan was crunch someone's ankle. He's a typical up front, get in your face, mix it up. And if we're having that type of game, I wouldn't mind seeing him introduced.
I think we'll see him at some point in the game. Yeah. I think. I think he's the type of player that I agree. Physical strength, because Alfie May's not the biggest, and Jay Stansford hasn't got the biggest frames, so therefore, they're quite big lads at the back for Wrexham. Yeah. So we might need a bit of physical presence up there. So I think Lyndon Dykes could be a good option.
Definitely, and there's 2 defenders for Wrexham which I've been impressed with. Just quickly, Max. By the way, my pronunciation on this podcast is terrible, so I always get the names wrong. But Max Cleworth, I think his name is, and Ryan Barnett as well. I think they've been really good this season. And with Ryan Barnett in particular, we need to be aware of his inward runs, because I've noticed he'll go down the wing, but then he'll cut in. Yeah. And he'll bring the ball forward. And if you looked at a couple of the goals against Shrewsbury, or definitely one of the goals against Shrewsbury, it was him cutting in, which actually led to loads of pockets of space over the far side. And again, Wrexham like to get balls in the box. I've noticed a lot of their goals come from set pieces, from crosses. And again, I think Max Cleworth and Ryan Barnett are my 2 players for Wrexham, which we have to be aware of. But they're defensive players. They're just solid and great defensively. So, they're my 2 sort of shout-outs for this game, who I think are going to be pretty solid for Wrexham.
Okay. Well, normally when we're researching these other teams, normally we'll talk about the characteristics of the team. So if you can go to different websites, and it can give you what their strengths and weaknesses are. And not surprisingly, with Wrexham, because of the run that they've been on, and also the way they finished last season, which was very, very strongly, they've got a lot of strength. So I'm going to read a few out of what they're very strong on. Okay, This is what the research tells me. Good at when they get chances, they do put them away. They're good, and I think that's been proven that they've scored 11 goals so far already. So they're their top scorers at the moment. Is it 11 goals that they've scored?
I think it is. It's 10 or 11.
Yeah. You mentioned they're good at attacking down the wings. Very good at that. They're good at creating chances through individual skill as well. So I think that may be brought again onto your point about they can create or score great goals from long distances as well. Just bits of skill like that, and they're very good. I've noticed this as well. particularly good at aerial duels as well. So particularly our centre halves are going to be able to well up for particularly balls into the box and balls that are being played from corners and stuff like that. Lots and lots of strong attributes. There are a few weaknesses, and this is research, not what I'm saying. This is research I've found. Just a couple of researches. Sometimes we've already spoken about this, keeping possession of the ball, but I don't think that's so much a weakness if they don't mind being out of possession.
If that's their style, it's a strength in some regards.
But the research says it's a weakness, so I don't necessarily agree with that. Actually, defending set pieces is classified as a weakness here. Again, I don't know. I've got nothing to substantiate that from what I've seen so far. And one final one: avoiding fouling in dangerous areas. So they can be prone to giving away free kicks in silly areas, I think. But overall, out of all the teams I've researched this season so far, by far, Wrexham have got the most strength of all. But it said that's no big surprise, though, is it? Because of the run of games that they've had and what they've won. Their last league defeat. It was I think it was the 2nd of April in last season against Doncaster Rovers. Since then, in the league, they haven't lost a game. They've won most of them as well, so they're obviously used to winning games as well. Yeah. Let me ask you a question about Birmingham City. What was our last league defeat?
It was was it QPR?
No, believe it or not, because this surprised me as well. Our last defeat in the league, in the Championship, was at home to Cardiff.
Of course it was,
yes. Home to Cardiff. And since then, we've done really well. So
yes, I remember that game. That was so frustrating.
Yeah. And since then, we beat Coventry, drew with Rotherham, drew with Huddersfield, beat Norwich. And in this season, we've beat Reading, beat Wickham. Sorry, drew with Reading, beat Wickham, beat Leyton Orient, and beat Wigan. So basically, what I'm pointing out is that there's two teams here that are not used to losing games. They're both coming with a bit of confidence.
Historically, we're very much used to losing games, but in recent form the last sort of couple of months, you're right. We have got that momentum, but I think that's the one thing which Wrexham have got going for them, which you could argue we haven't yet, is that togetherness. It's that gel and that click, isn't it? And that's where they're going to be dangerous, because they know the game, they know how to play, and they're playing a team who are still transitioning.
It's a good time for them to play us. Because I think as we go through the season, we are going to get stronger. We have got a very, very strong team in terms of depth. We've got 2 players at least for each position. And if I was Wrexham, I would want to be playing us now. We are in that stage where we're still getting to know each other a little bit. We're still getting used to this brand. It's a completely different style of play than we've ever played before.
I love it.
It's really brilliant to watch, isn't it?
Impressive.
But of course, it is resulting in us making mistakes, isn't it? As we sort of,
It's high risk, high reward, isn't it? And but coming back to your stat there, because I want to jump on that bandwagon of positivity for Birmingham for a minute. Actually, we've picked up 22 out of 24 points every time we've had a sellout for the past this season and last season across. So just to name them really, really quickly, we beat Leeds, Plymouth, West Brom, Sunderland, Preston, Coventry, Norwich, and Wigan. Sorry. So we picked up 22 points out of 24 when we've sold out St.Andrews in the last one at home games. That is incredible. So there's no doubt about it. It's going to be hostile in there.
Oh, Wrexham fans, you're in for an absolute treat. It's going to be a sold out St.Andrews at KnightheadPark under the lights.
It's magic.
We know that you're going to be brilliant. They're going to be in great atmosphere. We will as well. And it is going to be something to really look forward to, isn't it?
Whenever that keep right on goes off at the start, my watch says the decibels are too loud. You need to go. You need to go to a quieter zone. So Wrexham fans, as Dad said, you are in for a treat. That isn't arrogant. That's just a fact that under the lights, packed out, St.Andrews is a pretty crazy place to be, isn't it? It's mental.
Do you know something that's impressing me, Matt? Is that I don't know how many minutes we're in by the time you've edited this, but apart from the intro, we haven't mentioned Tom Brady, Rob McElhenney, or Ryan Reynolds. They haven't been mentioned, have they? But obviously, this is what the press is dubbing this, and the press are really hyping this up, aren't they? As a this big sort of American derby.
But it didn't help that Rob McElhenney. What's his name? Rob McElhenney. Rob McElhenney. He tweeted after the Wrexham win at the weekend. See you on Monday. To Tom Brady at the weekend.
Yeah, but I don't know why that got. Why did that get in the news? I mean, it's like me texting you, see you on Monday. I don't get in the news, does it?
But also as well, there's some theories out there that if Jay Stansfield's managed to score, he's gonna put on a Deadpool cap and go celebrate in front of the Wrexham fans. That'd be quite funny, wouldn't it? Let's bring us on to the Blues then.
Yeah.
So should we, as we always do, should we go through what we expect to be at the starting 11, and
Yeah.
we'll go from goalkeeper forward. So I'll get the ball rolling. Dad, goalkeeper. Who are your thoughts on goalkeeper?
Well, start off with the goalkeeper. Obviously, this is my head's been spinning about this because in my opinion, I think it's time for Allsop to be given a shout. I do. And Bailey Peacock-Farrell, he has cost us a couple of goals this season. And goalkeepers do, to be fair. To me, that's the worst position on the pitch. Goalkeeper, you're going to get the spotlights on you, and if you make a mistake. But I just feel with the mistake he made for Northern Ireland as well, and the fact that he played for Northern Ireland as well, Allsop, he played against Walsall in the EFL Trophy, didn't he?
Yeah.
I just wonder whether Chris Davis will give him the shout.
Yeah.
I think and hope it is Allsop starting.
I'm with you, Dad. I think I'd like to see Allsop get his first league start as well. But, Bailey Peacock-Farrell has started every league game, so Chris Davies might feel more comfortable playing him. I don't know. I'm with you. I'd like to see Allsop start. But it's funny, isn't it, Dad? It's funny old game football because we mentioned about Allsop's distribution and we saw him in the Walsall game and it was awful. You can't make it up, can you? However, with all that being said, me personally, back you up, Dad, I think I'd want to see Allsop start this one.
I think Allsop's distribution in the Walsall game was mainly in the first 25 minutes. Did improve significantly after that. But it was like, he's brilliant, and then suddenly he's hoofing the ball everywhere. But I think we both agree that we think it may be Allsop.
Yes.
Okay, so what about right back?
Right back will be Samstead, I presume, if Laird isn't back from injury.
He won't be back.
He won't be back from injury, so it'll be Samstead. Yeah. And I actually think, on a note on that, I think we're going to miss Ethan Laird. I think although fair enough, his final delivery could be stronger. We all know that as Blues fans. I think he does give us that pace and that energy down the right-hand side. He will be missed, but for me, obviously, it'll be Samstead starting.
Well, Samstead played for Iceland in the National League. I think he played the full first game for them, but I'm not sure. I don't think he picked up any injury. So I think it will be Samstead as well, because in the EFL Trophy, he played Gardner Hickman there.
He did.
And
he didn't look comfortable.
He didn't look comfortable, did he? No. I think it'd be Samstead. Yeah. Okay, let's go over to the left back.
No-brainer, Cochrane.
It's got to be Cochrane, hasn't it?
Yeah, brilliant player.
Yeah, love him. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, centre halves.
Again, really straightforward for me, Bielek and Clara.
Got to be, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, two good centre halves. Okay, now we get to the midfield. So do you want to start off on the left?
Or should we do the centre mids first and then move forward? Again, for me, this is quite easy still, and for me, it's always going to be Paik and Leonard.
I think it will as well. What I've noticed, and what you've probably noticed, and all Blues fans have noticed in the first few games, Leonard seems to get substituted regardless after about 60 minutes.
He does, yeah.
But also as well, don't forget we got Iwata as well, who we haven't seen yet, and he shows some good side. I think he started off in the first 10 minutes a little bit shaky, but I think he was first time. He only joined us a couple of days before, hadn't he? But I'd like to see Iwata, but Mark Lenz for me has been a great signing so far, and I'd like to see him play longer. But I think Chris Davis will probably go with the starting lineup of Paik. Yeah. Paik's been brilliant, hasn't he, as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Paik and Leonard.
For me, I feel a massive difference in the Blues team when Leonard isn't on the pitch. When he takes him off, I feel like we look a bit less snappy in the midfield. And then when he comes on, he kind of changes the rhythm of the game. I think Leonard's a massive player for us.
His pass completion stats are ridiculous, Leonard. Absolutely. I think you've got to start him. And I would suggest that depending on how the game goes, he needs to get longer than 60 minutes. But I ain't the manager.
Exactly. And also, Dad, it's a good point because against Wrexham, we might need some more energy and physicality in us. And Iwata might give us a bit more of that bite.
Yeah,
so you never know. It might be needed to bring Iwata on about 60 minutes.
It's good to have the options, I suppose, isn't it? We've got the options to cope and adapt to anything that happens in that game.
It's a great problem, isn't it?
I've never known it before.
Exactly.
Okay, so then now we do go on to the left.
Onto the left. Okay, this has to be Emil Hansen.
I think so as well. I'd like to see Emil Hansen be a little bit more productive. He's good going around players. He's good on the ball. But again, like we often said about Ethan Laird, I think his final delivery is probably could be a little bit more productive.
He cuts in a bit too much for me as well. As in, it's not a problem cutting in, but you become too predictable when that's all. A bit like Miyoshi. It was well known when Miyoshi went down the right, he wasn't a byline type winger. He always cut in and he always became a little bit too predictable. So I think Hansen has that problem as well in that he cuts in a little bit too much for me. Get to the byline and put a ball in.
But the only thing I would say about that in his defence is, putting a ball in the net, ball across the box to Alfie May, he'd need to be on somebody's shoulders, wouldn't he?
True,
So who's he crossing it to?
It hasn't always got to be in the air, though. It can be, It can be to his feet.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm not saying don't cut in. I'm just saying mix it up a bit.
Yeah.
Give the defender a bit more to think about and guess about.
I think it'd be Hansen as well, but I wouldn't completely discount Yokoyama starting as well.
Yeah.
In his place, it's either one or the other. So I think it will be Hansen.
I think if Chris Davis is going off the Walsall performance, I think he'll start Hansen because Yokoyama was at the minute. Yokoyama is looking like a real good impact sub, isn't he? And I've rallied behind Yokoyama having his first start, and he did against Walsall. I don't think he quite rise to the occasion, to be honest. And I think that will be Emil Hansen's position, in my opinion. Okay, that's that. So let's go to the opposite side and go for the attacking right mid.
Stansfield.
Simple as.
It's simple as. It didn't work against Warsaw. He played Stansfield as the spearhead, and May was sort of everywhere, wasn't he? Floating.
He was the 10 at start, and then he kind of went out wide.
May has to be the starter, the spearhead, because that's his position. That's what
he's clinical as well.
Yeah, and he scored every league game for us so far. And Stansfield can have a real impact off the right as well. So I think we both agree that it will be Stansfield. Being very interested to see what he'll do there.
Yeah.
Then, what about number 10?
For me, I'd like to see Williamson start.
Yeah, I've got him as well.
Yeah, I think he gives us that extra bit of physicality, doesn't he? Again, we talk about this with a team like Wrexham, Dad. We need someone who's going to get stuck in and get amongst it.
Well, Luke Harris is injured anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And Williamson, I think he's getting better as the season goes on. So for me, I think number 10, Williamson.
Yeah, and then obviously both of us, Alfie May's got to be up front as well. That's the team that we think. Will be interesting to see selection though, because obviously he's had this time, almost 2 weeks in training now with them. And when Jay Stansfield started against Warsaw, he'd only joined us a couple of days before, and he's sort of thrown in. And you could tell in that game that Chris Davis was experimenting. It didn't work, did it? No. So I think a lot of Blues fans are going to be very interested to see how Chris Davis sets up our team.
Yeah. And Iowata as well. He literally just landed in Birmingham 2 days before the Warsaw game. Yeah. So he
they should be better. So Stansfield and Iowata have had a good sleep now. they should be a lot better. But exciting game. Lots of things to look forward to for both the Blues and Wrexham fans. Have you got any final points, Matt?
No, I'm just buzzing for it. I'm so excited. I think there's going to be some big challenges. I think it's going to be a tasty game. It's going to be competitive. And I think, to be fair, we haven't done the score predictions officially on the video. So I think this is going to be a 2-2 draw. I think we are obviously capable of scoring goals, but at the minute we are a little bit vulnerable at the back, and Wrexham are clearly the masters of capitalising on those weaknesses. So I can see goals, I can see a draw, and I'm going to go for a 2-2.
Yeah, and anybody that's watched the prediction videos will know this very rarely happens, but I've actually gone for the same score. So for exactly the same reasons. I mean, Birmingham City, it's almost a fact that we will concede in this game. If we keep a clean sheet, I'll be really surprised based upon what we've seen so far. We know that Wrexham will score. That means we have to score. But I think it's going to be two teams in very sort of confident moods. And I don't think a draw will be disastrous for any team.
No.
Even us, I think, Wrexham would say, well, we'd be better for us because we're the away team. But actually, at this stage of the season, against a team that's in or around us, I don't think the draw will be disastrous. I'd love to see us get the win, just like I'm sure the Wrexham fans would love to see them get the win.
Of course.
But that's what we think too. But we'd really love to know your comments. Birmingham City fans or Wrexham fans, please feel free to add comments below this video. Let us know what you think about the game. Wrexham fans, if you come to St.Andrews at the first time, let us know what you're looking forward to the most. And, you'll get a great welcome at Birmingham City. It'll be a sold-out ground, and I'm sure you'll have memories of the atmosphere for a very long time. But pop a comment below. Let us know what your thoughts are. If you did like this podcast, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to our or haven't looked at our social media channels before, make sure you pop along to our X page and our Instagram page. And you can view these podcasts or hear these podcasts now on Spotify, and you'll see the handles appearing on the screen for all of those right now. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future content all about Birmingham City. And myself and Matt will see you on the next video.